I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time from Mathew. Apologize, it's taking a bit to get to it. I sadly did not have the film in my collection, but I was able to find an outline to watch. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or commentaries, reactions, re-reviews, reviews, topics, lists, whatever, feel free to send either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is a film that stars Mickey Rourke, the late Tupac Shakur, Adrien Brody, and Ted Levine. Now, Mickey Rourke, I remember liking as an actor, films like Angel Heart, even many years later, The Wrestler. I think he's a talented actor. Sadly, when he got into the 90s, he was very difficult to work with. He would rub people the wrong way. He was very much ego-filled. And just had this attitude that made people go, well, screw this guy. I'm not working with him and not dealing with him. And because he wasn't like a box office star, I'd be like, okay, whatever. And then he would get into boxing. And then that was part of the reason where his face got fucked up. And there were other things too. Just had a lot of potential, screwed it up. Then when he came out with The Wrestler and then The Expendables, Comeback, then pretty much after Iron Man 2, that kind of went down yet again. Which again is sad because he's a good actor. He does a nice job here. Just, that's how it goes. Tupac Shakur, he's one of those guys that, yeah, he's a rapper, but he actually worked well in acting, whether it be in Juice. I liked him in a film called Gridlock. I know a lot of people didn't like that, but I liked that film with him and Tim Roth. There's been others too. I thought Tupac Shakur was a rapper who could actually act, who had a bit of presence. Sadly, he's not in this film a whole lot. It seems like this would be a movie that he would be in more, considering if you look at the cover, he's on the cover. It's Mickey Rourke and Tupac. He's not in the film as much as the advertising makes you think, which is too bad. Rest in peace, Tupac. You also have Adrien Brody, who was in Predators, among others. He's actually not too bad here. He plays Mickey Rourke's younger brother. He's a graffiti artist. He's got a lot of potential for art. Mickey Rourke wants him to get out of here and make something of himself. Ted Levine, I remember from Buffalo Bill and Silence of the Lambs. He was the lead in The Mangler, which I highly enjoy. He was on a TV show Monk with Tony Shalhoub. Done a lot of stuff. He was in, I believe, Michael Mann's Heat. Really good character actor. He plays Mickey Rourke's older brother, who's a bit of a schizo. He's a veteran who lives in his room with his dog, and he walks around in his underwear, and he'll like train local boys for the militia and teach kids how to rip a throat out with a knife. Okay, now you do it to him. Not actually, but pretending, but he's very local, as you call it, and saying lines like, you know, it's a very touchy story. My hemorrhoids bleed for you. And he'll like talk to himself. But very interesting character. I would say he was the most interesting character in the movie. I kind of wish there was more between him and Mickey Rourke. There's a few, but I wish there was quite a bit more between him and Ted Levine and Mickey Rourke, between those two characters, especially in the third act. But the story is Mickey Rourke, who plays a guy whose nickname is Bullet. He gets out of prison. He has his pet rat. And as soon as he gets out of prison, he starts mingling with his old friends and into the drug circuit. He's a heroin addict. He's with this guy that he kind of prods into, hey, maybe you're gay, maybe you're this and that. He's already at the ire of an old foe played by Tupac, who's got an eye patch, and his name is Tank, because he got the eye patch because Mickey Rourke had stabbed him long ago. So of course, Tupac wants a little bit of revenge. But a chunk of the film isn't about the revenge. It kind of, especially in the middle of the film, it's kind of drifting. And you're kind of wondering like where exactly it's going or what exactly is trying to tell you as a story. It's kind of just, we're sort of hanging out with Mickey Rourke. He's going from A to B to C, whether it be with his family, with his mom and dad, and like I said, his older and younger brothers. There's him and his buddy going to steal some jewelry, some stuff in a house. And Ted Levine's walking by with his dog, and cops stop him, and Ted Levine starts talking trash to the cops. By the way, the war's been over 20 years. That Ted Levine's like, haven't noticed. Like, Ted Levine, like I say, he's a very intriguing character who has a little bit of animosity to Mickey Rourke, because he even tells Adrien Brody, you know, when he was here before, he robbed everybody in this house. Let him live somewhere else. And Adrien Brody's like, hey, he got no other place to go. And so it starts off interesting with pretty solid cast. But in the middle, it seems like not much happens. Like, they're stealing stuff from this house. Or Ted Levine getting mad at his mom because he wants some little stun gun. Won't give him money. But then he's like, oh yeah, you'll give Mickey Rourke's character's name Butch, or Butchie, but his nickname Bullet. Oh, you'll give him money and he gets what he wants, but fuck me, huh? Fuck me. Because like I said, Ted Levine's a little bit crazed, a little bit out of it. And like I said, the movie is decent because of the cast. It's decent because some of the performances. It's not great because, like I said, the story kind of wanders in the middle. And you're kind of wondering where it's going. And it feels like there's certain things that could have been put in to make it a stronger drama. Like more scenes between Ted Levine and Mickey Rourke. Like maybe Ted Levine, you see this more of a friction between the two. And then in the middle, they're kind of settling in. And then maybe starting to the third act, kind of more mellowing, where Ted Levine, despite him being crazed, despite him being a bit schizo, is teaching Mickey Rourke, giving him advice. Like there's a point where Mickey Rourke has this fist fight with a guy who works for Tupac, and Ted Levine's all the way over here behind the fence, just talking to himself, going, "Men love to hate. It's what separates us from the females of the species. It's natural law in wild America." You know, he's a bit crazed, but this is maybe stuff he could be talking to Mickey Rourke himself, and a little bit more of a bond grow between these brothers, becoming, you know, close brotherly again. But like I said, it just spends a bit of time just wandering around, kind of almost finding where it needs to go, what story it wants to tell. The one guy that he's kind of prodding, hey, maybe you're gay. That really doesn't lead to anywhere. And like that's running time that could be again more towards more scenes between him and Ted Levine. Just like Ted Levine, because of his behavior, because of his mentality, because of what he's been through, and liking him as an actor, Ted Levine seemed like the more interesting character. Also seemed like there's points where the director wanted to purposely edit stuff. There's a bit where they rob this other... Not rob, but they're in this place to get drugs. Some people rob it. They want the money. Mickey Rourke gives it, even though he doesn't want to. These guys run out. Mickey Rourke and them chases after them. Adrien Brody's outside waiting by the car. A guy goes up and stabs Adrien Brody in the hand. But it gets edited where like you don't see anything. Like you see it coming, then it edits away, then it edits away, so you don't see the knife go in. It looked almost like a made-for-TV scene with the way it edited out the stab in the hand by the knife. I'm like, why does that scene look like it was edited for TV? Same with the fist fight. This fist fight I thought was poorly directed. Because if you don't want to expect an action film, you're going to be very disappointed. It doesn't have much action. And the few bits is, at least for the most part, edited kind of poorly. Like the fist fight, it's like cutting from the impacts of the hits. Like you don't see this. It's like cut or go over here behind the guy's head. Go over here and have the arm block it. It's like almost trying to edit or trying to hide impacts to the face or just the way it was edited, the way it was framed. I've seen plenty of movies that have fist fights in it. This was poorly done. It was poorly directed. And even the way it is kind of a flat note. Because he hits the guy in the nuts, then just holds the guy by the fence, and they're kind of bleeding, and then the scene kind of fades away, and you go, okay, I guess that's over. So there's some issues with that. Like I said, if you go into action, there's a little bit of shootout between Tupac and some other guys at like a diner. I wish that Tupac gets like a little girl hostage. And his eye patch was slipping off, so I saw a little bit of his eye. But later on you find out that he has an eye, it's just more white. I don't know if it's in that scene if it's more white. Does it seem like in one shot the eye patch is fully on, then it cuts, then when it cuts back to him holding the girl, the eye patch is now up a little bit, and you can see a little bit of his eye. So I don't know, it seemed like a mistake. Just in one moment it's here, then another moment it's here. Just a little thing I know is like, while he's moving, the eye patch like slid all the way up. So yeah, I don't know, I couldn't tell if his eye was more white distilled in that, but just later on he pulls it off and you see a bit more. As I said, there's some decent acting moments. Mickey Rourke has a nice moment with his mom where he gives his apology scene. Or he's a bit of a downtrodden. He knows his life has gone down the wrong path. So he's with this hooker and he can't get it up. And he's not getting mad or angry at the girl. He's like, I can whack it, smack it, just don't work. And so Mickey Rourke in this film does have a decent ability to make me feel a bit sorry for him. Despite him being a heroin addict, he does feel like a guy who's gone down the wrong path and he wishes he would have done differently. Like near the end, the two guys that he scared and made them take their clothes off and throw off the roof because they were working for Tupac. I'm not sure if they were working for Tupac. Like they're guys trying to be tough. He sees these guys later. They try to hit Mickey Rourke and Mickey Rourke stops them and goes, look at this. Okay, showing him his drug markings. Pretty much telling him about how you don't really want this. You don't really want this lifestyle. You don't want to go down this path. Like really like teaching these two guys, listen, this is not what you really want. Think things over. So again, you do feel a bit bad for Mickey Rourke. I just wish there was more stuff in the middle, really hard driving that instead of kind of just wandering around with robbing this one place and trying to do drugs in this one place. It's just kind of almost like filler. Kind of like filler without a big driving force with it. I would say if you have like really, by the third act, really in-depth dialogue between him and Ted Levine. Like big sit-down conversations. Or even like some better directed action to overcome the filler in the middle. I think it would have been better. Like, spoiler alert for the finale. Tupac finds Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke helps the guys to escape, but he's not going. He decides to stay. He's going to meet his fate. Tupac shoots him. Later on, there's a funeral. Mom, Dad, Adrien Brody, and such are crying. And then Ted Levine finds Tupac, rappels down, slits the guy's throat, and says, "Payback's a motherfucker." And the rat that Mickey Rourke had as his pet at the beginning, Ted Levine leaves down the corpse of Tupac's character. That's what I mean. If you had like a big, like, nice dialogue moment between Mickey Rourke and Ted Levine, that would have made that Ted Levine taking action even more fulfilling, even more impactful. And also, like, when he grabbed Tupac, he could, like, threaten him, as in, let him know who this is for, who this is, make Tupac scared, and then do it. I mean, give just a bit more impact. Like, there's certain things here, I'm not sure what the director has done. But I said, like, the way the fist fight scene, poorly edited, the way, like, Adrien Brody gets a knife, it looks like edited for TV. There's improvements that could be made. So that's why, you know, it was decent. It was okay. It's not something I loved and great, but it was decent for the performances, for the cast. I'm a big Ted Levine fan, so it was nice to see him play this type of role. Adrien Brody, not too bad, not too shabby. He plays this type of role better than Predators, where he's trying to be tough with his Popeye muscles. And like I said, Mickey Rourke shows that this guy had talent and he squandered it, and that's very disappointing. They squandered his talent. I don't mind Harley Davidson and Marlboro Man. I don't mind that film. There's others I don't mind him in. And this guy, like, could have done more. And again, he just kind of squandered it. It was too bad. Tupac, like I say, he's not in the film that much. Kind of wish he was in the film a bit more. Because there's, like, big points of the film, like, he disappears. And in the back of your head, you wonder, where the hell is Tupac? Like, he's not as much as you would think when he's on the cover, like that. And some people may find it ridiculous with Mickey Rourke, the way he dresses and the hoodie. I was fine with it. I know some people online, they make fun of the way he looks. That didn't bother me. It really didn't. I was fine with it. The music was fine. There was nothing that I thought was egregious. Like I said, there's not much action to talk about. It's funny, the talent talks about revenge, but a good chunk of it isn't about revenge. Like, the way the cover makes it seem as if Mickey Rourke is going to come out of jail and then he immediately wants revenge on Tupac, is this build up to it. It really isn't. So, kind of weird marketing. And let's say Tupac disappears from time to time, so the revenge isn't really as honing in on perhaps what the tagline or the plot synopsis will make you believe in it. Like I said, maybe if it had a bit more action, a bit better directed action, and maybe if you had a few more hard-hitting Mickey Rourke scenes of drama. Like the scene with the hooker was decent. His scene apologizing to his mom was pretty decent. You know, have a few more scenes with Ted Levine, like one big final emotional scene. Maybe a few more scenes where there's these moments where him and Tupac are face to face with each other. They can't do anything because it's too public, but they have like decent verbal confrontations with each other. Yeah, I think Tupac was actually a pretty decent actor. Mickey Rourke did more fire. Well, I have him downtrodden, but when he's talking with Tupac, he gets more fire in his belly. It's like, bah, 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 verbal sparring. I wish more of that type of stuff was in the film and not so much dawdling around in the middle. But overall, not a bad film. If you like Mickey Rourke, Tupac, if you like Ted Levine like I do, it's worth a watch. It's worth a watch. It's a decent flick. I don't think it's that bad of a movie. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.